In this video, we're going to cover how to master your ball position for different clubs in your bag. If you've watched other videos with ball position, you might be confused with some of the conflicting advice out there. In this video, we're going to explain why and what this means for you. The golf ball only cares about impact. You could do a dance at the top of your backswing, and the golf ball really wouldn't care as long as you create the ideal impact conditions. And here is where the ball position confusion comes into play. Your ideal ball position is about creating the ideal impact factors for each club in your bag. You want to strike down on all of your iron shots and wedges, sweep your fairway woods, and even hit slightly up with your driver. You can make all of these changes seamlessly just by adapting your ball position. We call how much your club is moving up or down through impact your angle of attack, and this is really important, with minus numbers indicating your club is travelling down through impact and positive numbers showing your club is travelling back up as you move through impact. So let's take a look at what the pros do with some TrackMan data. On average, pros strike 4.7 degrees down on their pitch and wedge. They strike 3.9 degrees down with their 7-iron, 3.4 degrees down with their 5-iron, 2.4 degrees down with their hybrid, and 0.9 down with their driver. Now bear in mind these are averages, pros do vary around this. For example, Rory hits up on his drives about 2 to 4 degrees. So there is room for variance, but we can start to see the pattern where pros strike down on their wedges and slowly become more shallow as they get towards their irons, hybrids, and as we move towards driver, some pros even hit up on their driver. So how can you create the ideal conditions for every club in your golf bag? The general rule is the further back you place the golf ball in your stance, the more you will strike down on the golf ball. As you move that ball position forward, the angle of attack will shallow and start to travel upwards. This reflects how we want to set up for every club in our golf bag, moving the club slightly further forward as they get longer, and we want to create that shallower angle of attack. With this in mind, you should place your wedges around the middle of your stance. As you move onto your irons, the ball should nudge slightly forward as the clubs get longer. Hybrids and fairway woods should be towards the front of your stance. And your driver should be positioned just inside your instep. This promotes a neutral or even upward angle of attack that we see many elite players use. So why all the confusion? Well, ball position doesn't guarantee your angle of attack. Golfers have different setups, different builds, and swing the club in many different ways. We see golfers with very narrow and very wide stances. Golfers have different levels of tilt as they set up, and we see a lot of variance with how golfers transfer their weight through the golf swing. A better predictor of your angle of attack and low point is where your sternum is at impact. The angle created between your lead arm and golf shaft will also impact your angle of attack. So if you're finding the standard advice isn't working for you for ball position, it might be time to find a coach and go check your fundamentals. Or tailor this advice to create the ideal impact conditions in your golf swing with some practice and feedback from a launch monitor. The best way to practice and check your ball position is to set up to alignment sticks or golf clubs as we've shown here. This gives you great feedback on where the ball is in your stance and allows you to adjust it for different clubs in your bag. If you're lucky enough to have access to a launch monitor, you can also pair this information with your angle of attack and understand how changing your ball position may impact your own angle of attack. This is really useful information and allows you to personalize your setup and produce better golf shots. So the general rule for ball position is to favor the middle of your stance with wedges, bump the ball position forward half an inch as you get to a longer and longer club, which should result in you having your driver just inside your left instep as you set up ready to play. Use this as a general guide, but adapt it if you need to. Remember, the golf ball only cares about impact.